headphones.
Oh, yeah. You gotta get sweaty. You gotta get sweaty. It's time to get sweaty.
This video is brought to you by CyberGameway, with an emphasis on exposing streamers of all types, as well as exploring business relationships with partnered websites and service providers. CyberGameway is the place you want to be for streaming gamers who want that sub bump. To apply for membership or sponsorship, head over to cybergameway.com.
Hey everyone, I'm Hobbes. Thanks for watching HMODS. This one's going to be a quick one simply because it's a pretty cut and dry topic. How much do you need to spend on your headphones? And the answer is kind of complicated, even though it might not seem so. So the brass tacks is, if you're a gamer, if you're a hardcore gamer, you've got to consider a few things. One, do you game online? If you don't, you might not need certain headphones. Two, do you prefer sound over being able to talk to people? That's another thing you got to consider. But the hardcore thing you got to consider is quality over cost, because that can be misleading too. Because these days with neodymium magnet-driven speakers, they're lighter, they're less expensive to make, and some of them can sound pretty, they'll sneak up on you as far as quality goes. And so the cost factor might, be irrelevant, because when you consider major, huge name brands like Turtle Beach and Corsair and Razer and all those other ones, some other brands might sneak up on you and surprise you. So let's get into that. First of all, if you're an online gamer, you've got to have a microphone. But if you're a streamer, you're probably not going to be needing to use one of these, because you've probably got your own setup with a nice studio microphone sitting right in front of you, your SM7B or your NTK or something like that. But if you don't, then you're going to need a microphone. And for that, there's a couple of things. Some people have chosen to go with the USB microphone, which is fine. The Blue Yeti is, in my opinion, a piece of crap, but it gets the job done. Or you can stick with, the headphone that comes you can stick with the microphone that comes with one of these. And by and large, unless you're spending hundreds of dollars, they're all going to sound the same. That's one thing you need to know right off the bat. The bandwidth, unless you've got 10 gigabit Ethernet, the dynamic range on the microphone is going to get crunched a little bit, because a microphone as small as this has what's called compression. And what that does is it compresses the highs and the lows in your voice to basically just mid-range, because the speaker is and basically, by the way, a microphone is a speaker inverted. So the driver on this microphone is so small, it's only going to be able to pick up certain stuff. So unless you've got a big microphone, like, one of those helicopter weathermen, you're not going to get a whole lot of it. So we'll put that up to the side. The next thing you need to consider is this. When you're buying gaming headphones, and especially if you play online, you need to consider a couple of things, because gaming headphones today are geared towards online gaming. So with that in mind, what they're going to do is they're going to prefer the microphone over the headphones, because while you'll be able to hear both, you're going to need to hear voices more than you're going to need to hear the audio. And that's kind of a little trick that I learned at a convention. These things, the microphones, are going to be more visible audibly. They're going to be more audibly visible than the actual sound coming out of the game. And that's because you need to hear who you're playing with. But if you don't play online, you don't need it. And that's just the big thing about it. Because if you don't play online, like mostly I don't, if you don't play online, then you don't really need a microphone. At least you don't need one on your headphones. You can get away with a cheap, crappy, headphone sitting on your cheap, I keep saying headphone. If you don't play online, you don't need the mic. So let's go there. And in that case, headphones like this and the Turtle Beaches, these are my fiance's, headphones like these can go right out the window, because unless you're spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars like the top end Corsair, the top end Turtle Beaches, which these are not, you are not going to get as much as you can out of your gaming experience as well as you could say with these. These are my Logitech UA6000s. I've had them since 2013. They are pound for pound the best headphones I've ever had. Now, that's not saying that I don't have great headphones now, I just don't use these anymore. The ones that I'm using these days are, and this is where the misleading thing comes in, because all these headphones have different price tiers, but, and like I said, some will stick out at you and some will sneak up at you. Because what I've got here are my EKSA E900 Pluses. These are the ones I use for gaming. These are the ones I use for listening to music these days if I'm not trying to wake everybody in the house. Because they've got 7.1 surround sound on them, and the drivers in them sound really, really good. They are gaming headphones, so they do, when I have the microphone, it registers it and it amplifies the microphone. But I don't use it very much. So with these, I actually get some really, really good sound out of it. Better than these, better than the Corsairs, better than the Turtle Beaches, and they really, the dynamic range is really good. Also, with these EKSAs, it actually has software that you can use with it to tune the equalization out of it, to tune the sound, which I think is really cool. Now, I might be sponsored by EKSA, but that's not why I use them. I actually use them because I love them. These are another pair that I use. These are the ones that replace the Logitechs, because when I'm using headphones to go out and listen to music on my phone while I'm out and about, or I'm recording music, these are the ones I use. These are Vankios. These two headphones combined cost less than these Corsairs. And that's where you really need to pay attention, because I've said this a lot. If you don't need it, don't spend the money. Because unless you just want to look cool, you don't need to spend $200 some odd on a pair of headphones. I did on these because I was recording a lot of music. I'm not doing that so much anymore, but these sound just as good as these. These were $279, these were $50. They have bigger ear pads, they've got bigger speakers. The technology has improved to the point where a lot of the stuff is just going to, a lot of this stuff is going to sound just as good as this stuff. We all know that Logitech is the standard, but these kick these asses, and these kick these asses, and the Turtle Beaches, but that's not saying much. When you think about it, all you really have to do is consider the cost, because unless you just want to look cool, you don't need to be spending hundreds of dollars on your headphones, because if you really do your homework, you can find some serious gems. You've got these Vankios, which, by the way, Vankio are famous for making projectors, HD projectors for like watching movies at home and stuff. They made these, and I don't think I'm ever going back. I actually have 2 pairs of these in case I lose one. You've got other brands, you've got One Audio, you've got EKSA, you've got a bunch of different ones that just, they're not hitting so much in the American market. But if you do your homework, you will find some gems. And so that's all I'm saying. When you're thinking about buying new headphones, just give a couple of things consideration. If you're playing online, you'll need a microphone. If you're a streamer, you don't need this microphone. So you can consider audio over the microphone. If you don't play online, you don't need this at all. So go for quality of sound over price difference with the microphone, because one thing they don't tell you is that this stuff costs like $3 to make. And if you have a microphone, they'll slap another $10 on it, because it's them. The long and short of it is, if you're buying new gaming headphones, do your homework, because you don't need Corsair, you don't need Turtle Beach, you don't need Razer, you don't need SteelSeries, you don't need blah, 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 blah. If you do your homework, I guarantee it, you will find good ones for a fraction of the cost. You know, it's like Jay's always saying with the fans that he does. And by the way, he just did one about up here fans. I've been using those for years. Jay, you got skills. If you do your homework, you'll find some gems. That's all I got. I'm Hobbes. I'm out.